All right, I'm back to take another look at a celebrity home, this time Sarah Paulson's cozy Malibu getaway. I'm very excited, mostly because I love Sarah Paulson and I have a feeling her cozy getaway is gonna be incredible. So let's see what she's got going on. As always, I'm gonna try to give some tips and tricks to get a look or feel in your home like she has in hers, but for non-celebrity money. So let's take a look.
Really tiny. Everything about the house is quite cozy because of the size of it, but I think we did some really special things with the space.
So the living room is really an exceptional lesson on small space design. I think my takeaway for that is if you've got a small space like that living room, make every single piece count because there will be so few in the room. You know, all of her walls were obviously white. It was very neutral. The couch had color, but it was calming. And then the coffee table was great with that scallop detail. It adds a little bit of like a wow moment. And so that to me was the thing that stood out. And so each piece was carefully thought out, but then there was one that was like, oh, your eyes should go here rather than here, 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 and here, because it is such a small space. So if you're doing something with that smaller footprint, buy quality, buy something that is the correct scale, and then get yourself that one, you know, piece of interest that brings your eye towards it. And I think you'll get kind of the feel that she has going there. So the kitchen was fantastic. And again, in the small space, there were some really great tricks they did in there. The walls carry through from the living room. It's the board treatment on the walls. It adds a bit of texture and interest, but it's not busy. They also brought that theme into the cabinets. And so your eye kind of just floats from the ground up. So if you're doing your space and it is really small like that and you don't have money for some sort of a treatment, you can also do sort of the same thing with, you know, paint color can be a way to just keep it continuous throughout. I loved her counters to touch on, you know, if you're doing your home, you can get a lot of really cool things now, whether it's porcelain or even some newer quartzite. There's so many different things. You like the standard white and gray marble because you've seen it. And because you haven't seen other things, your brain just doesn't know you like it yet. So, you know, think outside of the box when you're doing that. Another tip for your own home is you'll notice there's brass accents everywhere. It is a really small space. I love mixing metals, but I also think in this instance, what she did there, just using brass everywhere, was really nice. And then she added visual interest by having a unique pole rather than just something basic, that rope look. Still in the brass color, and it adds interest without adding sort of, you know, confusion to the eye as you scan through that space. Other thing that I've talked about in videos is think about how you use your space. Clearly she did, and so she did not put in a huge stove. It's funny, we do a lot of kitchens and a lot of people want a big 4-foot oven and they want it to look like a chef's kitchen, and they are fantastic at ordering Uber Eats. So think about how you use your space. Do you really need a very large oven? Do you not? Would you serve, you know, the purpose better with more counter? Something to think about. And then lastly, she did something that I've done in my own kitchen, which is super easy. It costs hardly any money at all. Add in artwork. Your kitchen is a room in the home. It's the room that we generally spend the most time in now. And because of that, you want it to feel like it truly is a part of your space and not this separate, you know, just functional area. So I have art hanging in my kitchen. I have decorative items in my kitchen. Yes. Sometimes they get greasy. Sometimes I have to wipe down a book. It doesn't matter. Things are meant to be used. Things are meant to show age, and having artwork and having books and having things of meaning in your kitchen make it feel like a cozy space. And I love the way she did that in her kitchen. few takeaways from the bedroom. I love the smart use of storage under the bed. I personally have a bed from West Elm, which I can link, that I think is fantastic. It looks beautiful while still providing me trundle storage, and it comes in handy because I'm married and we have a lot of stuff. Other thing I also would recommend doing, if you have a smaller space that, you know, especially like that is the bedroom, it's meant to sleep in, don't fight it if it's small and if it doesn't get a lot of light. Embrace it, like double down on that. Go with wallpaper, go with deeper colors. I tend to not use a ton of color, but if I do want it to be really deep, rich tones, because it just like brings this shift in mood and moment. And I think it's fantastic. So if you've got a small space and it doesn't ever seem like it's bright and airy, double down on it. Make it even cozier. I also think another really fantastic thing was that light fixture. And not just because it was beautiful, but just the size of it. When you look at that initially, you're just like, wow, that's a moment. And it's because it's bigger than you probably would go out and buy for that space. And it adds a lot of drama to it. One of my favorite bedrooms that I've done, I used a really large light fixture from CB2. I don't know, maybe who's ever watching this right now is seeing a picture of that room right here, but it was fantastic. And it adds a moment of wow. And it's these things, these rules in those small spaces that you break that end up being the thing that people love the most. So remember that. That was fast because the bathroom was small. But okay, you're redoing your bathroom. Where to splurge, where to save. When you look at something like that bathroom, it is small, so tiling the entire thing probably wasn't, too budget intensive. But if your bathroom is larger, but you still want a custom feel, I always take my tile up the wall to the ceiling and on the ceiling in any shower or tub space that I do. It's like a thing that I see regularly when we're remodeling homes. They take the tile up and then there's like this much break to the ceiling. Doesn't save that much money. Take the tile at least to the ceiling, if not on the ceiling, and it gives a much more custom look. I always feel like the more tile, the better. I love stone, so go nuts with it. I think keeping a cohesive color palette is big, which she obviously did there. Those light sconces are fantastic. And if you're like me and you can't always just go on and buy something off of First Dibs, CB2 right now has got a really nice selection of cool, earthy, feeling like natural element sort of wall sconces. A lot of different things on there that I'm liking. And wall sconce, again, a place you can kind of get a little wild with. It can always be changed. If you put it up, you don't like it, you can return it, but take a chance there because that can end up being a real wow moment in your space. The other thing which she didn't touch on, I could just kind of tell by looking at it, but the recessed medicine cabinet, if you're framing from scratch, it's never a bad thing to put in. You might not use it, you might, but it's at least there. It's additional storage, and especially if you want to do a pretty pedestal sink like that was in that bathroom, you're going to want a place to put things. And so just remember that when you're doing your space, you need a place to put the cologne. I love that back space. Again, something easy to do in your own home, greenery. I know I say that as somebody who uses a lot of artificial plants because I can't keep real ones alive, but greenery is always fantastic decoration outside. She painted the cinder block, she painted the wood. It all felt like it was cohesive, and even though it was all different elements, it was small and it felt like your eye didn't get distracted. There was seating, it was functional. And the other big takeaway, especially for outdoor, is purchase something that feels like it's got some weather and some age to it. I know everybody wants like, oh, I want my home to feel brand new. And I get it, but you also want your home to tell a story, and the best way to tell a story is if you have some things with some age and some character to them, especially outside. So keep that in mind. Oh, I guess that's it. If you liked any of these tips or tricks, like, subscribe. I will be doing more of these. I love looking at celebrity homes and taking ideas and how I can implement them or help you implement them. So if you have any homes you'd like me to look at, comment below.